PulseChain will have an Oracle service that people can use to call prices for. We debated the idea of having more than just Pulse as effectively the token that we would wish to collateralize. Using anything other than the native token represents a greater level of risk, not a level of risk that we thought that the community would really benefit from. So, different perspective, and hopefully you guys enjoy the view. This is part of my backyard. It's not where I surf normally, but it's a lovely spot all the same. It's quite peaceful here, and you can see it's a miserable day outside. But look, I guess I did want to talk to you guys about the tell-all system. Wanted to explain how all of that worked, how we're actually looking to deploy that on the PulseChain, particularly V3 when it comes out. So we already have tell-all up and running on the current version of PulseChain. The issue for us at the moment, though, is obviously with V3 coming, we have to relaunch a lot of the contracts. A couple of things that I did want to explain about how the system's going to work. We debated for a long time whether or not we would use the existing incentive token and bridge those tokens in from Ethereum. The long and the short of it is that whilst we could have done that, I think it represents too much of a risk to bridge tokens in from other chains, at least at this point in time. And we just felt that, given everything that we're building, it would be nice to have an Oracle service that was native and specifically built for PulseChain. Now, what we've effectively done is we're using the tell-all system. So it is tell-all, and we're working with Nick Fett and his team just to build that out for PulseChain. Fundamentally, what that means is that PulseChain will have an Oracle service that people can use to call prices for. And in particular, projects that might be in the DeFi space, and we know that there's a number of projects launching on Pulse that actually will benefit from this. So we've started some conversations with leaders of those projects, just to give them a sense of how this is going to work. And we want to be able to collaborate on this because we feel that this is an important piece of infrastructure that PulseChain needs. Certainly we need it, and context for that is that the reason we need an Oracle service is that whilst we could legitimately call a price for Pulse directly from PulseX, it does create a risk in that, and even though, one of the risks is that, somebody could actually manipulate the price and, you get a scam week and then that affects everything. You can overcome that through time-weighted averages. But the real issue isn't so much the manipulation of the price. It's more to do with the fact that it's only a single source. And why is that an issue? Well, the issue could come in that if a particular pairing, say for example it's USDC or the wrapped version of that with Pulse, if any of the liquidity providers decide to move their liquidity away from that pairing, that would cause us a significant problem in that it's the only source of price feed that we have. And so if you don't have an opportunity of decentralizing that or making available other sources of truth, then you're relying on a single source, and that creates too much of a risk. So the mechanism that is built into liquid loans is twofold. One is obviously using an Oracle service gives you that sort of broader reach. So you'll have a range of reporters that provide price feeds to the Oracle service. And those reporters in turn actually have to find the price of Pulse from different sources. So obviously one of those sources will be PulseX. But we do expect that there will be a number of coin listing sites that will actually also have APIs that can be used to provide a source of truth for the price of Pulse. So all of those things combined provides a fair level of redundancy, but also some consistency around, okay, well, what's a real price for Pulse? The other thing that needs to be understood is that whilst you're getting a single price feed through the Oracle service, should that fail or should there be a problem with the Oracle, there's a redundancy built in, and that is that we default to PulseX in the event that there is an issue with the Oracle service. So that in itself should give people a fair sense of comfort that the way that the system designed is that even if there are, and we do expect that there will be some nefarious attempts at manipulating the price of Pulse, that people won't be subjected to crazy liquidations as a result of that, which kind of leads me on to another sort of point, which is really important for people to understand. We debated the idea of having more than just Pulse as effectively the token that we would wish to collateralize. And it didn't make any sense for us to extend that out to other tokens. And the main reason for that is most of the liquidity will be on the native token. And that's something that's been stated in the past. You only have to look at the volatility that exists if you have a look at the from the all-time highs to the current price of things like Uniswap, compare that to Ethereum, and even compare that to HEX. The range of volatility, the amount of volatility for those other assets other than the native Ethereum is significant. And so that creates a potential higher risk of liquidation. And that's not something that we ever wanted to entertain. And as a consequence of that, that's the decision that we took at the time. Now, it could end up there is no doubt that there will be other projects that will look to collateralize those assets, and all credit to them for giving it a go. But we made the fundamental decision not to go down that path for that reason, is that I think that they're too volatile. And as a consequence of that, our fear would be that people would be subjected to a greater level of liquidation than what we would ever experience with Pulse. Needless to say, if you have a high level of collateralization, you probably mitigate some of those risks, but using anything other than the native token represents a greater level of risk, and not a level of risk that we thought that the community would really benefit from.